Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a different video for two reasons. Firstly, I'm in the car, as you can see, and secondly, it's going to be one take. I'm just going to talk and see what comes out of my mouth, which could be interesting. I'm making this video for two reasons. The first reason is because I have this long drive ahead and I need to fill the time basically, so I thought why not talk to you about an Apple product, and not the Apple product you're probably thinking about, although I will touch on it. We have had confirmation that the iPhone 17, which is presumably what it will be, the iPhone 17 event is taking place on the 9th of September. But I don't want to talk about that specifically. I want to talk about the iPad. The second reason I'm making this video is because, to be completely blunt with you, we have a sponsor obligation to fulfill before the end of the month, and that sponsor obligation is Paperlike. This is how we keep the lights on in the studio, and it's how we make these free videos. Just bear with me on that one. We had to get this video out. So let's start with the sponsor read. And if you have an iPad of any kind, because Paperlike is compatible with the iPad mini, the regular iPad, the iPad Pros, the iPad Air, etc., all the different sizes, you need a Paperlike. Trust me, it's very hard to get across on a video what it's like, but it serves two purposes. The first purpose, it's a screen protector, so it protects that very expensive iPad screen and it doesn't dull the colours. That's very important. Secondly, it makes it feel like paper, as the name suggests. So if you use your Apple Pencil quite a bit for drawing, for writing, that kind of thing, you might have got used to using the Apple Pencil on the iPad screen, but it's not particularly nice. If you add a Paperlike to your iPad, it feels so addictive to use. It's such a lovely feeling. Can't get it across in this video, but I put a Paperlike onto every iPad I get. It's very easy to apply. If you're worried about that, don't worry, I can do it, you can definitely do it. That's all I'm saying about the sponsor. Go and check it out, there's a link down below. Let's get into the meat of this video, which is the iPad, obviously. In fact, we'll start with the iPhone, because the iPhone event is on the horizon, and we've just had new Pixels. We've had the Pixel 10 series, so the regular 10, the 10 Pro, the 10 Pro XL, and the 10 Pro Fold. Now, I've reviewed the 10. In fact, we'll link to that video at the end of this one, just because I think it's worth watching to get some context around this. And I think the Pixel 10 is one of the best phones I've ever used, and I don't really know why you'd need anything more than that, unless you need a bit more storage and perhaps you want some more RAM and that sort of stuff. But those are quite specific use cases. I think given that most people rely on cloud storage these days, that's less of an issue, and most people just want a solid phone. And if you want a solid phone, the Pixel 10 is amazing. The Pixel 10 Pro Fold I haven't used, but I have used the 9 Pro Fold, and I've just reviewed the Honor Magic V5, and in this car I have the Samsung Z, and we do say Z in this country, the Z Fold 7. These are all foldable phones, and there's a lot of rumours swirling around that Apple may launch or may release a foldable iPhone. Not this year, that's very, very unlikely. It's more likely going to happen next year in 2026 or possibly 2027. I think it's definitely on the horizon. I think they'd be daft not to do it, given how many other brands are doing it, and the fact that Google is doing it, Samsung's done it for years, and the fact that Samsung's in particular is so good. The Fold 7 is just an amazing phone. It's incredible. It's the best foldable on the market, and the Honor Magic V5 is a very close second. So I think Apple is going to do this with the iPhone. I think we will get a foldable iPhone at some stage. But that does bring me to the iPad, because the iPad for me has always been and I mean this in the nicest and most endearing way possible. This is said with love, I promise. It's the problem child. It's the one Apple device that I struggle to fit into my daily routine, that I struggle to find a use case for. Whether that be business or for leisure, whatever it is, I just struggle to carry on using the iPad. I think some of it is because I'm just so wedded to my Mac. My MacBook in particular, my MacBook Pro and my MacBook Air. I know I've got Macs coming out my ears, but Macs to me they're like a very comfortable pair of slippers. I just want my Mac. You know, if I start using iPadOS 26, for instance, which is very, very, very good. You know, they're making the right changes there. But if I start using that, for any extended period of time. And it's been the same with all versions of iPadOS. I start to really miss my Mac. I just think everything feels quicker on the Mac, everything feels smoother, and I know where everything is. That isn't fair on the iPad. That's me being a bit of a stickler for just what I'm used to, and not being adventurous enough with tech sometimes. I know what I like, and I like what I know, if that makes sense. And for leisure, if I've used my iPads for watching YouTube content, and if we go on holiday, for instance, I'll use the iPad occasionally for watching stuff on Disney Plus, or if I'm flying, for instance. I remember I went on a flight earlier this year and took the iPad with me and watched all of Severance, every episode of Severance on the plane, because it was a long haul flight. But that was the last time I did that, really. I think I used it briefly a couple of weeks ago when we flew for holiday, but it doesn't stick, because eventually I come back just to using my phone. I watch most content on my phone these days, particularly if I'm using the Fold 7. I open that big foldable display and start using that. But it does leave the iPad in an even stickier situation, because why would you have a foldable iPhone and an iPad and a Mac? It doesn't make any sense at all. And I think that's why we haven't seen a foldable iPhone just yet. I think Apple has held off for so long because they know it will cannibalize sales of the iPad. It's a bit like the smartwatch versus smart ring thing. Why would you have a smartwatch and a smart ring? It doesn't make any sense. And again, I think that's why we haven't had the Apple Ring yet. We may never see that, but I would guess that they can't think of the story. And this is what's important for Apple. It's the narrative behind their products. Now, what is the story in terms of fitness behind having a watch as well as a ring, both of which are doing the same thing, tracking your fitness, tracking your sleep and all that sort of stuff. It's the same deal with the iPad. What is the story for the iPad if an iPhone Fold exists? And equally, what is the story for the iPad now? I really struggle with this. It's something which has bothered me to the point of making multiple videos about this on my other channel. So I have another channel called The Tech Diary, which is more like this. It's more me just rambling away and waffling on about stuff. And invariably, I quite often end up talking about the iPad, and in particular, the iPad mini. If you've seen my video on this on the Tech Diary, then you won't be surprised. But if you haven't seen it, I can confirm that my iPad mini barely gets used these days. And yes, this is me. I've made countless videos about the iPad mini, so many of them on this channel. It means a lot to me because it's helped me build this channel to where it is today. But I'm not using it as much as I used to. I used to use it for everything, for taking notes, for watching content, for doing lots of stuff in the studio. It came with me everywhere. Now, if you want to really know what I do with my iPad mini, when I'm in the studio talking to the camera, it's just below the camera with notes for that video just in front of me, so I can reference bullet points while I'm waffling away to you guys. I use it for that, and then it gets folded back into its moffed case and chucked back into a drawer. Doesn't come home with me, it stays in the studio, stays in that drawer. I don't see it again until I need to film another video. And the tragedy around this is the fact that even that is a stretch, because I could just use I could use my phone for that. I could use my MacBook for that. I could use the Z Fold 7 for that. I don't need that iPad mini. And it pains me. I hate it because it's such a good iPad. It's one of the best products that Apple has ever made. I still think it's the best version of the iPad. Also, it doesn't have any competition. There's nothing out there on the Android side I'm aware of. Let me know in the comments if you disagree, if you found something. But I don't think there's anything that matches the iPad mini for the size and the power and everything, all it can do. And then my iPad Pro, I've been testing iPadOS 26 on it. I've been using it in conjunction with the Logitech Flip Folio, which I know some people don't like, but I think it is a fantastic keyboard case for the iPad. But again, I have to force myself to use it. And that's what it is. I don't have to force myself to use my phone. I don't have to force myself to use my Apple Watch or whatever watch I'm reviewing at the time. If you're wondering, this is the OnePlus Watch 3, the 43mm edition. It's the new smaller version of the OnePlus Watch 3. I know some of you will be asking that question. Equally, guys, I would guess, because I've not referenced this car at all, apart from the fact I'm driving it, obviously, but I would guess that some people are trying to guess what it is in the comments already. But down below, what car do you think I'm driving? I'm a car guy. I run another channel called The Next Drive. I review cars. I'm reviewing this car as well. But I think even I would struggle to work out what this is. So yeah, get involved in the comments on that one. I'd love to see what your guesses are for what car this is. Let's round this video off by, again, asking for some input from you. I want to be inspired by you. I very regularly am. The comment sections in these videos are fascinating, and quite often when I'm stuck for something to talk about, or in this case, if I'm stuck for the direction in which to take a product, I look to you. So I'd love to know in the comments, one, do you use your iPad regularly, and what do you use it for? And two, are you like me? Are you struggling to find that use case? Which camp do you fall into? Get involved down below, guys, and with that, I am going to sign off this video because I think I've been waffling for long enough, and if you have got this far, thank you so much. Equally, if you have got this far and if you've been watching this channel for a while and you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, you know what to do. Yeah, that's it basically, guys. That's how I feel about the iPad, and I guess the iPhone as well. It's a really interesting time, but yeah, get involved, let me know what you think, and I'll see you down below. Cheers.